Good evening, everyone. So, welcome again. And today we'll talk about job search and the job search checklist. So, job search has, changed over a period of time, and a lot of things are happening. A lot of the things are changing in the way we want. But then, is the voice okay? Okay. So, I had purposefully mentioned career transition for armed forces officers, armed forces to corporate sector. So, this talk is primarily aimed at those armed forces officers who are planning a transition, and that is why it's a very targeted call. I don't expect anyone else to be in this call, but if they are, they will also benefit because the principles remain the same. So you can be in two categories. You may be still serving and contemplating hanging your uniform, or you may be someone who already knows the date you are leaving, as contract is finishing or superannuating or PMR is applied, right? So, whichever category you fall into, for those who are still serving and contemplating hanging uniform, you must understand why are you leaving. You must understand your own why. Is it the family pressure? It is the stability factor. The parents are old, or you are tired of changing locations, or you have missed your promotion. Whatever be the reason. So it can be anything. So whatever be the reason, you need to be ready to unlearn, learn, unlearn a few things, learn new things, slog, struggle, start as novice, climb up the ladder. If you, of course, if you have the thing in you, you will definitely climb up the ladder. And you have to do your own SWOT analysis. Now, I am talking only for, I'll come to the category two also. I'm talking about those who are still contemplating. So, if you're contemplating, then you need to do all these things. You need to identify your own strengths and weaknesses. Don't When I say strength and weaknesses, don't say honesty, integrity, and all. We are not talking about honesty and integrity and all. We are talking about skills and qualification which can get you job. So make a list of gaps and try and fill those gaps by acquiring those skills before you take the final plunge. You have to identify the core functions, the big industries where you would like to work. For that, you will have to do a little bit of hard work to get to know what it is all about. So you have to research, identify companies in those particular domains, talk to at least five officers in those companies or related fields who are in the similar kind of roles which you are targeting, and then see what is their reaction when you tell them that you are contemplating hanging your uniform. After all this exercise, if you still feel that you want to leave, you are okay to leave. Assuming you have considered the situation that you may not be getting the job immediately after leaving, and you have taken into account all your finances, etc., etc. So, after all this exercise, if you are still okay to leave, if you are still wanting to leave, then you are okay to leave. But if any of these scares you, then you still have to work. Now, stage two, you is those officers who already know the date they are leaving. They may be superannuating, the PMR applied and it has come, or they're short service commission officer, the contract is finishing. So this category knows the date well in advance. Some of you may be in the category that you applied in a rush because of some pressing need which suddenly was there. That's a different thing. Or you are a gambler that you thought, no, today I will leave. And this category is an outlier, and I am not talking about this category. Rest of the people who are either taking PMR or who are superannuating or who are short service commission and the services contract is finishing, they already know when are they leaving. So they also have to do the same act, activities, unlearn, learn, SWOT analysis, identify core function, all those things which I have mentioned. So before this big step, these जो भी माइनर इरिटेंट्स होते हैं, माइनर नहीं होते एक्चुअली मेजर होते हैं. वेयर आर यू गोइंग टू स्टे, व्हाट इज योर फाइनेंशियल सिचुएशन, एक्सपेंडिचर्स कहाँ से आएंगे, क्या होगा, रिटायरमेंट कॉर्पस का क्या करना है, कब मिलेगा, वगैरह वगैरह जो भी है. Please sort out all those things, whatever part to orders, etc., you have to sort out. एक बारी बाहर निकल गए, you may or may not get the time to run after your organization. Ideally, I will come to the job search part Ideally, before you hang uniform, you should have a house to live, your own house to live, ideally, or you should be having a house. Decided on your place of relocation, decided on how long you're going to run the house if there is a delay in getting a job of your choice. And now that delay, you people get a job before hanging the uniform while they're still serving. They already have one or two or three jobs in hand. They have to choose. So some people have the problem of plenty, and some people, even after hanging the uniform, have to wait. There's nothing, it doesn't prove anything. अगर मेरे को बाहर आने से पहले ही जॉब मिल गई, it doesn't prove that I am too smart or I am too, क्या कहते हैं उसको, लायक, intelligent. It is to be, you know, much of it is to do with how much of effort you have put in, whether you've gone systematic about it or not, and whether you were at the right place at the right time or not. So don't get disheartened if there is a delay in getting a job, which you will get. You should have acquired some job relevant qualifications. And what is that job relevant qualification? It was part of the activities which you should have done before you hang your uniform. You should have built your network on LinkedIn, connected with relevant people. We have spoken about it n number of times already. You should have started behaving maturely on social media. Don't just write Modi ranting and Rahul bashing. Ye sab chhod do. Social media is not about all these things. So start behaving maturely on social media. Start making yourself visible, more visible. So learn basic of all these activities you should have done before hanging your uniform. So please make a note of these. You should have learned basics of Excel, if not advanced. Stop calling yourself GD, because if you call yourself GD, rest everyone will take you as GD only. So you will never be given a specialist appointment. And so you have to find your specialty. You should have made your career portfolio, CV, cover letter, LinkedIn profile. It may not be in the final shape, but it should be there. And LinkedIn profile should definitely be good. Made a list of your major accomplishments. It should be on your tips, your major projects. What have you done? Your major disappointment. Tell me one example which was a major disappointment for you. All these things should be on your tips. Examples of leadership, when you took leadership and you showed initiative. Failures of lessons learned, failures and lessons learned. So what I am hinting is that you should have made a list of common interview questions and made your answers so that you don't fumble at that time when the time presents itself. You should have learned to be a good listener and definitely worked on your ego, anger, language, shouting, and you should have learned to get up and take your own cup of tea. I hope it. I'm just being very, very practical and I'm just giving you crisp to the point advice. Networking is the key strategy. It get your foot in the door and you will get to know of the jobs which are never advertised. Job search is not about random spraying and praying. When I say random spraying, you are just sending your resume everywhere and hoping like hell that you get an interview call. As I have already spoken about interview calls, the number of people who are applying for one job on LinkedIn is going up day by day. At least it is up from 2020 onwards. There is a sharp increase in number of people applying for per post. So you need to have a job strategy. Could say who do you need to meet inside target companies. So we already spoke about it that you should have identified the target companies. So in those target companies, किससे मिलना है, who is knowledgeable about your desired occupation, किससे तुम बात कर सकते हैं, आप बात कर सकते हैं, learn about potential employers to target. You need a clear message, and the clear message वो तभी होगा when you have assessed yourself and researched the job market and prepared your marketing material. Now, assess yourself. You can assess yourself how? By talking to people, telling them about you, taking their opinion of people who are this kind of profession. Find yourself a mentor and research the job market. How? Go to LinkedIn, as I have always been advocating that LinkedIn is not a job search platform. It is much, much more than a job search platform. If you are using LinkedIn as a job search platform, you are not using it right. you are actually not leveraging the strength of LinkedIn. So you have to use LinkedIn properly. And I mean, you can, instead of sending me WhatsApp messages, you can send the message on the chat. There is a chat facility over there. So when you send WhatsApp message, it pops up on the screen, and so we'll talk about all these things. We'll talk about the job search, self assessment. How will you do self assessment? Self assessment के बाद क्या करना है? And all these things. There are around 5, 6 steps. We'll discuss all these in detail, and then we'll also talk about the job checklist. So you have to assess yourself and know what you want and need from your job. What are your goals? As I said earlier, you have to understand your why. Why are you leaving, and what is your goal? For some, it can be, for some, the goal can be that I want a relaxed life and I just want this much of job in my own hometown and I have had enough. For some, it may be earning more money. Whatever is your life goal, according to that, you assess yourself, know what you want from your job and employer, and that is very important. What kind of job will be suitable for you? You want to align yourself with the purpose and job work you want to do. You also need to understand the demand and supply. What is the industry trend? What is the gap you have for that particular role, skill gap? What kind of qualification you should acquire? The people who are already in that particular role, what is the kind of qualifications they have? So this kind of assessment you have to do for yourself. And this is done by joining those relevant forums on LinkedIn and other places, doing networking, undergoing psychometric assessment, and all these things. So it's a combination of the result of all these that will give you a proper assessment of yourself and the job market, and which are the roles which are aligned with your kind of your interests and your qualifications. Then what is the next step? Next step is the Okay, so this is the kind of, when you go for a psychometric assessment, this is the kind of thing you get your career clusters, which are scored 87, 79, 78.1, 71, 66. So you come to know you are not suitable for some things. It gives you your own skill, abilities, etc., etc., and also gives you your career path, recommended career paths. So you can see on the left hand side, you get this is your top choice, and then you have recommended choice, then you have things to avoid, the career which you can avoid, all those things. So you may be thinking of being an entrepreneur, but your attitude and your EQ may not suggest it to be a very good choice for you. So what I was telling you is that this is the in a psychometric assessment, this is the kind of report you. So you can see on the right hand side, you get career clusters, and they are scored in the end. It is 87, 79, 78, 71, etc., etc., and that tells you which career paths are better for you. Your skills and abilities also scored, your EQ is assessed, and then based on all the combination of all that, you get a recommended which all careers may be good for you. Now, some of them may not be applicable, but then you get a very fair idea whether what you have been thinking is suitable for you or not. So which areas to avoid, which professions to avoid, which professions it says that you have a better choice available, etc., etc. So in the summary sheet, you can see it assesses you for your career personality, your interests, your motivators, your learning style, your EQ, your skills and ability, and your selected or recommended paths, right? Okay, so we'll come to, so so whatever you get from psychometric assessment, talking to people who are guiding you, the people who come on value talks, me, I also keep telling you something, Vipul tells you something, then guest speakers who come, they tell you something, all these things, and then you also reach out to people and talk to them. Combination of the results of all this gives you an assessment of your skills and what is the industry trend and how you should go about it, right? So next is research. As I said earlier also, LinkedIn is not a job search platform. It is majorly a platform to connect with. It's a professional network to do networking in the professional domain, to connect with people who have similar kind of professional interest as you, to join the forums, to research about the companies, all these things. LinkedIn you can really help you to advertise yourself as a professional. It's the biggest advertisement platform you have. So you have to conduct more in-depth research. It will help you better understand कि कौन से स्किल जो हैं आपको हाईलाइट करने चाहिए and what employers are really looking for. You have to research about the target companies. You have to research about the people who are already there in those kind of roles. So it's a research on all dimensions. Step 3 is presenting yourself. Now, what do I mean by presenting yourself? In my earlier talks also, I said that you have to be like a salesman, who's selling something. And here you are the product and you are the seller. And what is your advertisement? Your advertisement is your career portfolio, your pamphlet, your own marketing material is your career portfolio. That is your LinkedIn profile, your resume, etc. So you have to present yourself. You have to create your marketing material. And in that marketing material, this is not only the resume and LinkedIn profile, your own pitch. If you people have been attending my talks earlier, I have spoken about elevator pitch. You must have 30 and 60-second elevator pitch ready. If I meet you if I'm just taking my example, I may be a recruiter, I may be an industrialist, I may be somebody who can help you in your next career. If I meet you in an elevator, एक lift में अगर मैं आपसे मिला और we are going and I just ask you, so what are you doing? In 30 seconds, you should be able to tell me something for which should strike a chord with me and मैं आपसे 2 मिनट रुक के और बात करूं. If that pitch is ready or not, you have to see. So all these things I have also mentioned on Career Coach YouTube channel. Please go and see. And it's something, and this question will definitely be asked in any question, a starting question in any interview. So, hi, Anurag, how are you? Tell us something about yourself. No, he is not asking you your CV. CV is in front of him. So, in any case, as I said right in the beginning of this talk, कि आपका before you hang your uniform, you should have prepared all these things: your elevator pitch, your major accomplishment, your disappointments, your leadership examples, etc., etc. The common interview questions you should have prepared. So you must know how to present yourself. Your pitch should be ready. Your resume, LinkedIn profile should be ready, and your marketing plan should be ready. And we have spoken about this marketing plan in our landing a high ticket job, how to land a high ticket job. In that series, we had spoken about the go to market strategy. So step 4 is that you have to treat the job search like a job only. Okay. So you have to treat the job search like a job. It is like a project. Take it as a project you are doing. You have to keep your job search on track. You have to manage it like a project. Set goals, deadlines. मैं इस time तक ये मेरा ये हो जाना चाहिए. Which is, I have already hinted what all things should be ready before you hang your uniform. So उसके लिए each of those things you should have a timeline, deadline, set goal. मैं इतने लोगों से रोज बात करूंगा, मैं इतने लोगों को रोज रीच आउट करूंगा. आई विल आइडेंटिफाई दीज मेनी कंपनीज, आई विल research about these many companies, well, whatever. I mean, whatever is the step you're going to take. So you have to manage your job search with the mix of proactive and reactive job search strategies: applying for job, networking, building online presence, using social media, LinkedIn, blah blah blah. Reaching out to recruiters. Also reach out to recruiters, let them know. See who are the big recruiters. नौकरी के बाद जाओगे, who are the major recruiters like ABC consultant, headhunters, etc., etc. Connect with them also. Let them know that you are leaving. But then before you let them know, you should have the career portfolio ready. वो तुमसे बोलेंगे कि कब आ रहे हो, तो तुम बोलोगे 6 महीने बाद. हो कहेगा यार जब आओगे तब बात करना. Interviewing strategies. Now, in order to perform your best during interviews, you have to prepare in advance. आपको पहले से तैयारी करनी पड़ेगी. मैंने पहली 2 स्लाइड में आपको बताया था आप किस किस चीज के लिए रेडी होने चाहिए. यू शुड बी रेडी फॉर दोस. यू हैव टू होन योर स्टोरीज टू फिट द जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन. अगर किसी ने आपसे ये पूछा है कि भाई मेरा तो कस्टमर फेसिंग, बट यू हैव नेवर फेस कस्टमर्स, सो इसके लिए आपके पास एक जॉब, एक स्टोरी रेडी होनी चाहिए if you are joining such this kind of role. So you need to have your stories ready for different, potential interviews, interview questions, and you have to practice them, speak them aloud. You may find it very funny, but I am telling you, most of the people, when they appear for interviews, at that time the words don't come to your mind. Somebody asks you, tell me the biggest failure you've had in your career. At that time, you think, yaar, main kya bataun isko? You can't. At that time, you can't start thinking and all. Of course, you may take a pause. You may like them to think, okay, you are thinking, but your answer should be ready here already. What is your biggest achievement? What is the biggest success you've had? What is the biggest failure you've had? What was your biggest disappointment? When did you face a conflict at workplace? Vagara, vagara. All these things. And the next step is your project update. Project update means that you have to keep updating the project of job search. आपने क्या किया? So I have in my earlier talks also I have been talking about this, that you have to maintain a spreadsheet, an Excel sheet, and उसमें आप सब लिखिए कौन सी जॉब थी, क्या जॉब टाइटल था, क्या कौन सी कंपनी है, कौन सा उसका साइट कौन सी है, कहाँ पे था, ये लिंक्डइन पे था, नौकरी पे था, कौन था, किसको मेल भेजी, कब भेजी, उसकी मेल आईडी क्या थी, ठीक है, आपने उस कंपनी में किसी से कांटेक्ट किया, कब किया, उसका क्या रिप्लाई था, फॉलो अप कब करना है. All these things you have to maintain, because what will happen, and if it is not happening already, at least it did happen with me. Then when I started applying, I was applying randomly. At that time there was no one to guide me, and I was applying randomly. I applied for so many jobs, and उसमें मुझे ये भी नहीं पता लगता था कि किसको मैंने कौन सा CV भेजा. And this may happen if you are not organized. So you have to then when nothing was coming, no interview was coming, then I realized कि यार ये तो कुछ गड़बड़ हो रहा है. Then I changed course. So you have to maintain a record, treat it like a project, and keep updating कि मैंने क्या किया. एंड ऑल्सो उसमें अपनी टाइमलाइंस भी लिखिए जो आपने पहले डिसाइड करी थी, उसके हिसाब से आप जा रहे हैं नहीं जा रहे हैं. आपने यू अपीयर्ड फॉर अ जॉब इंटरव्यू सम टाइम बैक, बट यू हैवंट हर्ड फ्रॉम देम. शुड आई राइट अ फॉलो अप? व्हेन विल यू राइट द फॉलो अप? उसकी डेट होनी चाहिए. इफ यू हैव सेंड योर CV टू अ रिक्रूटर, देन यू हैव सेंड इट 10 days back, you haven't heard from him, keep a record कि हाँ भाई आई हैव टू डू अ फॉलो अप. अगर आप उससे फॉलो अप हो गया है एंड देयर वाज सम अदर एक्शन व्हिच नीड्स टू बी टेकन, कीप अ रिकॉर्ड. सो ऑल दोस थिंग्स, इट विल जस्ट make you better organized, and it will help you in, you know be in control. Besides this, gentlemen, you need to have some kind of checklist. The checklist which is there is basically you need to have list of 100 plus people whom you know in the industry, irrespective, फौजी, नॉन फौजी, whatever. एक वो लीजिए अपना, जिस पे भी पेन पेंसिल लैपटॉप जिस पे भी आपने बनानी है, स्टार्ट फ्रॉम वन साइड. कौन कौन है, किस कंपनी में, क्या अपॉइंटमेंट है, और अगर फोन नंबर है तो वो भी सब अपना अपडेट करिए. मोर 100 प्लस पीपल यू मस्ट हैव इन योर लिस्ट. योर अकम्पलिशमेंट्स एंड इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चन जो मैंने आपको बताए थे, जो भी ये हैं, वो सब की स्टोरीज जो हैं आपकी रेडी होनी चाहिए. यू हैव टू गैदर दिस इंफॉर्मेशन फर्स्ट. Then your professional email address, anuraglovespepsi@gmail.com, is not the Gmail from which you will send your CV. So cstorm@gmail.com, no, it has to be a proper sounding Gmail address. Your personal go-to marketing strategy, कैसे आप करो, क्या है, it should be ready with you. Practice answering your, I'm talking about the checklist. Practicing answering your job interview questions. List of interview questions and their answers. It should be there with you. Cover letter formats, thank you letter template, networking email template. It may not be necessary networking email template, but it helps. अगर आपके पास 2-3 template हैं, it helps. ठीक है. Then targeted and focused resume for every job. अगर आपने Reliance में apply किया है for the role of project director, तो please save that as whatever Anurag Sena _ Reliance. Now I get Abhishek Malhotra generic. Okay, what is this generic? You're applying for Reliance, you save it as Reliance and send it there. Okay. And otherwise, just write Anurag Saxena _ whatever is the role. वो करके कर लीजिए. लेकिन send it from a proper email ID not from an email ID which doesn't sound okay. Your email signature block, उसमें already होना चाहिए आपकी सारी details, your LinkedIn profile, your this, that, whatever, contact detail वगैरह वगैरह. And if you are in some other media where you have put something, उसकी भी वो हो सकती है. For example, I am having a YouTube channel and I am co-founder of Value Talks. I can mention in my signature block only. Co-founder Value Talks. Value Talk का link भी है वहाँ पे. If I want to project, then your list of appropriate, then your 30 and 60-second elevator pitch should be ready. On your tips, your Zoom account profile, your own Zoom account profile should be made, and you should have learned Zoom and Google Meet, which are the most commonly used platform. It should be ready. Your LinkedIn profile, needless to say, that is the one of the most important things, and your 4 to 5 references from your armed forces. This thing should be ready. I'm already, I think, I've done already posted on Career Coach YouTube channel how to go about references and what should you do for asking for referrals, etc. I think I've already posted, or it will be posted today or tomorrow. Right. So activities are reach out to 100 plus people and share what you're looking for. Set alerts in the companies, target companies. So in many of the companies, what happens is in many of the companies, they have their own career page and you can set alert there only. So whenever there is a job released from those companies, you can get an alert. Similarly, you can in LinkedIn and Naukri also, you can set alert. You can give kind of roles and this you're looking for, and you will start getting alerts in your email. So set alerts in platforms and as well as on the target company websites. Then attend industry events, webinars, etc. Stay active on LinkedIn. I have already said that you have to increase your presence as one of the steps. You are the product. You are the seller. So please make yourself more visible. Invest in learning new skills and identify and reach out to first and second degree connection inside the target companies. इसके ऊपर हमने बहुत डिटेल में बात करी है लैंडिंग अ हाई टिकट जॉब सीरीज. You must watch those videos. Then you have to get organized. You have to have a system for tracking the job application, which I have already mentioned in great detail. Block time on your calendar for all job search related activities. अपना कैलेंडर में सेट कीजिए आपके जो भी एक्टिविटीज करनी है. If you have set a timeline for them, that also set a this thing on calendar. One time effort है, it is not much. It may seem too much, but it is a one time effort. Once you have made your this thing, एक बारी उसके बाद आपने एक दिन बैठ के ये सब चीजें करनी है, so that you know, and you keep getting alerts thereafter. And of course, you need to have a positive mindset, allocate your time for your interests, and invest in learning new skills. Explore Coursera, explore Udemy, LinkedIn Learning, whatever. So many things are there. You can explore the YouTube. So try and learn these things. And one thing which I forgot to mention, invest in, not forgot, but I got included here is invest in learning new skills and Excel you must learn. So that I stop the recording and I am very grateful that all of you found time to be with me today. And I hope whatever I spoke, you find it useful.
You gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah. You gotta work, never tell, keep your head